Welcome everyone, thank you for being here for today's World Cup Trophy Tour brought to you by FIFA and of course Coca-Cola. We are going to kick off with our Welcome to Country from Brendan Karen.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Big day, big day. My name's Brendan Kieran. I'm a cultural representative and the cultural educator for Metropolitan Aboriginal Land Council in Sydney. And our role as Aboriginal Land Council under the Land Rights Act in the 90s, we are the cultural authority and the guardians and custodians of land within our boundaries. Guardians and custodians are not traditional owners. Unfortunately, where Captain Cook landed, and before I welcome you to country, I share a very brief history of country. When Captain Cook landed, in less than 50 years of that invasion, 80% of my people was wiped out within Sydney. It didn't take long for the English to realise that smallpox and the flu was absolutely devastating for us. And so they deliberately infected clothing and blankets and handed that out to community. And the first people to go were our elders. So there went our wisdom and knowledge. And the next to go were the young people. So there went our future. If we fast forward that timeline a little bit, we had a whole era and a period of massacres and slaughters. There was 500 of my family, men and children, that just over were slaughtered for water, for cattle to drink. If you fast forward that timeline a little bit, we had a period of the kidnapped generation, or the stolen generation. My mother was part of that. She was 5 when they took her away from her parents, and she never saw them again. If we fast forward that period a little bit, 1950s and 1960s, my people came under the Flora and Fauna Act. So in 1950s and 1960s, we weren't even considered human. In 1971, I was born not from here, Surrey Hills, in 1971, and that's the last time that I ever felt my mother's touch in that hospital, 1971. I was taken away. I never saw her again. 7 years ago, I found my mother's grave, and I found I'm one of 10 siblings that have been removed. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm second generation of my family that's been taken. Out of the 10 brothers and sisters, I've only met 3 brothers and 1 sister, and none of us have spoken for 5 years. It's very hard to have a relationship when there's so much abuse and trauma. The flow-on effect and the domino effect of being part of removed from family is once I was removed from my mother, there went my identity. There was connection to country was cut, connection to culture cut, connection to language cut, connection to family cut. So I'm left wondering who I am and where I come from. My children will no longer and can't have a relationship with their grandmother. My children will never grow up having a relationship with their cousins or their aunties and uncles. Traditionally, Aboriginal people are matriarchal people. My family's patriarchal. And what I share today is very top layer stuff. And I share it because when you have a welcome to country, have a good think about what we've been through to get to where we are today. Aboriginal people are the world's oldest living culture. We've been here for 250,000 years BC, and the BC stands for before Cook. So the land that we're gathered on here today is Gadigal land. Gadigal is one of 29 tribes which make up the Eora Nation. The boundaries for the Eora Nation start from the ocean, and they're surrounded by 3 of Australia's most beautiful rivers. We have the Hawkesbury River, we have the Nepean River, and we have the Georges River. And in between those 3 mighty and beautiful rivers, We have 29 tribes which make up the Eora Nation, and the name of the clan and the tribe we're gathered on here today is Gadigal. So first and foremost, on behalf of those Gadigal ancestors, because their spirit is still in the land, I'd like to welcome you to Gadigal country. On behalf of Metropolitan Aboriginal Land Council as the cultural authority, I'd like to welcome everyone to Gadigal. And on behalf of myself, as Aboriginal person, welcome. The smoking ceremony that I was doing, the smoking ceremony is a very old ceremony. We do smoking ceremonies from the beginning of life right through to the end of life. As soon as our babies are born, we baptise them through the smoke, so they get the smell of country on their body. And every living thing knows that those babies are connected to country. We do our smoking ceremonies during life. Different plants have different healing properties. And we do our smoking ceremonies at the end of life. The smoking ceremony today is a healing and a cleansing ceremony. It absorbs all the bad energy, all the negative energy. It goes into the fire, into the smoke, into the ashes. At the end of the day, I'll bury those ashes back into the ground so Mother Nature can bring them back out as positive energy. And that's our smoking ceremony. So once again, everyone, thank you for having me. Always an honour for me to perform ceremonies back on country. I'd love to hang around and have a yarn, but unfortunately, I've got to pay a white fella by the name of Wilson for parking on my own land, and he's not cheap either. So once again, welcome to Gadigal land. Thank you for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brendan, Kieran, and thank you for the smoking ceremony and getting this afternoon's event underway. Isn't it fantastic to be here inside the Sydney Football Stadium, Allianz Stadium? Newly opened last night, a spectacular event, and you are some of the first people to be able to grace the pitch down here, and we look forward to some fantastic events here over the next week, of course, including our Matildas. But today, we welcome you all for the FIFA Sydney World Cup Trophy Tour, brought to you by Coca-Cola. My name's Amy Duggan. I'm a former Matilda. I made my debut as a very young lady back in 1997. You can work the rest out for yourself. But today is, of course, a very exciting moment, not just for football fans, but for Australian football history. Not only do we have FIFA legends, Rivaldo and Heather O'Reilly with us here today, we also have a couple of other special guests, including our Socceroos coach Graham Arnold and Rob from Coca-Cola. But we have a couple of very shiny pieces of, I was going to say silverware, but they're not, because they're gold over here. It is the men's and the women's FIFA World Cup trophies together for the first time in Australia to celebrate international success of the Socceroos and our Matildas. To kick us off, I am absolutely delighted to welcome to the stage and introduce you to Vice President of Coca-Cola Australia, Rob Priest, to say a few words.
Thank you, Amy, and thanks to Brendan for your story, and welcome to country. Well, it gives me great pleasure to represent Coca-Cola here today in this absolutely outstanding stadium. Congratulations to everyone involved in setting up and obviously the kick-off events that we're having over the next week. We are pleased to welcome representatives of FIFA, Football Australia and the FIFA Men's and Women's World Cup team, along with other key business leaders here today, and of course our media. Coca-Cola Australia is delighted to be able to host you all. It is an exciting opportunity for us to have the World Cup trophy here in Australia. We've been a partner of the FIFA World Cup since 1978, so that's 44 years of being involved in one of the world's greatest sporting events. And the opportunity to take the trophy to countries around the world is a great privilege for us. By visiting all FIFA World Cup qualifying nations for the first time, can you believe? The momentum of the FIFA World Cup Trophy Tour by Coca-Cola will continue to build and give Aussie football fans across all backgrounds and ages a taste of the excitement to come. And that's just not Australians, that's globally as well. The Socceroos qualification for their 5th consecutive time will see the whole country cheering them. On their way as they head to Qatar later this year, we wish them all the very best. Not only have we got the Socceroos to look forward to, but Australia and New Zealand will next year host the FIFA Women's World Cup. And we are equally excited to be supporting that tournament. Some of the games will be played once again in this fantastic stadium we're standing in here today. The FIFA Women's World Cup will be a huge boost for our economy of New South Wales and including Australia. Football Australia has forecast the delivery of almost $460 million worth of social and economic benefits to Australia through co-hosting the FIFA Women's World Cup tour. And we are thrilled today to also have the Women's World Cup trophy, which we believe is the first time outside of Zurich to have both the women's and men's trophy here in one place. And then most importantly, a big welcome and thanks to Rivaldo and Heather, two of the world's most talented football players who join us here in Sydney, all the way from Brazil and the United States to help celebrate this fantastic World Game. It's going to be an exciting 12 months of football, with the arrival of the men's trophy and the trophy tour, and then with the tournaments that we have next year hosted once again in Australia and New Zealand. I thank everyone for coming, and also I wish the Socceroos once again all the very best for the tournament in Qatar later this year. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rob. Well, I'd now like to introduce you to a legend of Australian football first, our Socceroos coach, Graham Arnold. I was supposed to say you're a friend of mine. I don't know if that's true. We'll have to work that out a little bit later. But anyway, following an incredible playing career, Graham went on to get our Socceroos through to the second round of the finals as an assistant coach in 2006 at the FIFA World Cup campaign. And in 2018 was appointed our Socceroos head coach and has been with us on a remarkable up and down journey ever since. Most recently, he coached our national team through a thrilling World Cup qualifier, and I'm sure no one will forget any of those moments. And I'd like to invite Graham up to the stage to tell us about that thrilling qualifier ahead of Qatar, the game against Peru, your FIFA experience, and do not leave out all the stress of the penalty shootout, please.
Thanks, Amy. Obviously, during a difficult period, difficult time over the last couple of years that everyone's been through, that personally and professionally, that it was such a great feat at the end of the day to qualify for the World Cup in beating Peru. So proud of the players and obviously the staff for what they achieved, but also the organisation, that we have such a big year of football ahead of us, obviously with the Men's World Cup coming up in Qatar. 84 days away from that World Cup, and you know, the boys and myself are super excited to be ready for that. But I think the most important thing is for the fans and for Australia that we qualified, and we've got a lot of energy and a lot to look forward to with the World Cup being in Qatar in November. Overall, it's as I said, it's been a difficult period, but one that we're looking now in a positive way, and the positive way is being a nation, one of 32 nations to really to go there to Qatar to challenge for that trophy. And it's great to have two legends here, that in Rivaldo and Heather, that have been there and done that with those trophies. And you know, we will inspire the nation to do the nation very proud. So thank you for having me. Thank you Coca-Cola, the FA, for organising this event, and FIFA, and I look forward to the future.
And we absolutely wish you the best of luck over there, and wouldn't it be nice to bring this little baby back to Australia? We'll be all right behind you, absolutely right behind you. It is a pleasure now, and a little bit of a fangirl moment. We've had our moment earlier today. I've had a great chat with Rivaldo, but it is an absolute pleasure to be introducing you all to an icon of football, not just from his own country, not just at a World Cup, but globally across the world. And of course, the 1999 FIFA World Player of the Year in Rivaldo. Also a Ballon d'Or winner. He began his career back in '91 with Barcelona. At Santa Cruz, was signed there in '97. Went on to score something like 130 goals to make you one of the highest all-time goal scorers ever at the club. Then he went on to play all over the world. He went to the '98 FIFA World Cup. He helped Brazil to reach the final and to victory again in 2002, where I am very, very jealous that you got to lift this beautiful piece of trophy that we'll see in just a moment. And it is also good to know that one of us, when we gave up our career, actually still works out, because you will notice that he's super, super fit as well. On top of that, his performance in both tournaments led him to be named the 98 and 2002 FIFA World Cup All-Star team. I could give you 1,000 more amazing accolades and moments from this man, but what an incredible career Rivaldo has had. And it is so fantastic to have him here today and to invite you up to the stage to say a few words.
Primeiramente, obrigado pelo carinho.
But firstly, thank you so much for the warm welcome.
Eu sou grato a Deus, né, por tudo que Ele me deu na minha vida.
I am thankful to God for everything I have achieved in my life.
E esse momento que eu fui convidado pela FIFA, pela Coca-Cola,
And also for this moment that I was invited by FIFA and Coca-Cola.
estou muito feliz porque é um sonho que foi realizado há 20 anos atrás, né, em 2002.
Because this is a dream that was achieved 20 years ago in 2002.
Eu sempre sonhei em jogar na seleção brasileira
It was always a dream of mine to play in the Brazilian official team.
e depois meu sonho aumentou. Eu queria ser campeão do mundo.
And then my dreams got higher and more ambitious, and I wanted to be a champion of the world.
Tive uma oportunidade em 98 na final contra a França,
We had a good opportunity in the final in 1998 against France,
mas infelizmente perdemos a final por 3-0.
but unfortunately we lost 3-0.
E me concentrei durante 4 anos, muito determinado nos meus treinamentos,
And I focused a lot for the following 4 years, very focused on my training,
porque eu queria conseguir esse sonho, esse objetivo de ser campeão do mundo para ficar marcado na história do futebol.
because I wanted to achieve and realize this dream, which was to become world champion for the whole of the soccer and football history.
Então, obrigado à FIFA, né, por me invitar para poder tocar novamente, para sentir esse momento, né, que foi de 20 anos atrás. Hoje sentir essa situação de tocar novamente naquele troféu, né, que eu peguei em 2002. Isso é muito importante para mim.
I would like to thank FIFA for giving me this opportunity to touch this trophy again and relive that very special moment that I had 20 years ago. So it's a great opportunity to touch and have those memories again.
E está próximo agora da Copa do Mundo,
We're close to the next World Cup.
e a Austrália está numa chave difícil,
Australia is in a hard group.
mas é claro, primeiramente dar os parabéns pela Austrália estar classificado merecidamente.
But I firstly want to congratulate Australia for having qualified.
Mas eu acredito que eles têm grandes possibilidades de passar para a próxima fase.
I believe you have a great chance of going to the next stages.
É só ter determinação, concentração, força de vontade, porque eles já jogaram com essas seleções.
You just need to have a lot of concentration, determination and will, because you have played these nations before.
Eles tiveram uma equipe que tiraram eles ganharam deles em 2018, que é o Peru.
You had Peru in 2018, who had challenged you.
E agora eles a Austrália deixou o Peru fora do Mundial.
And now you left Peru out of the World Championship this year.
E agora a Austrália tem possibilidade novamente de tentar conseguir uma vitória contra a França.
Australia has an opportunity to have a victory against France,
contra a Dinamarca,
against Denmark.
para depois poder pensar em classificação.
So then you can think about classifying.
E no futebol, a gente nunca pode ter medo da outra seleção.
In football, we can never fear the other team or our opponent.
Temos que ter respeito, mas nunca medo.
We have to respect them, but never be fearful.
E eu acredito que os torcedores da Austrália vão ao Catar
I believe Australian fans will go to Qatar
ajudar a equipe da Austrália a se classificar.
to help Australian team to continue qualifying.
A gente sabe que aqui na Austrália, no país, a gente sabe que tem muitos grandes atletas, né, que ganham tantas medalhas de ouro.
We know that Australia is a country full of very good athletes that have lots of gold medals.
No futebol ainda tem um pouco de dificuldade,
In soccer, you still have a few challenges,
mas eu vejo que a cada ano o futebol da Austrália está melhorando. E eu acredito que este ano pode ser o ano da Austrália.
and I see that every year Australia gets better and better, and I believe that this could be a good year or the year of Australia.
Obrigado pelo carinho, obrigado a FIFA, a Coca-Cola, a todos que me trouxeram para cá, né? Porque é uma emoção enorme poder estar aqui com vocês e tocar novamente nesse troféu que para mim me ajudou muito na minha vida pessoal.
Thank you, FIFA and Coca-Cola, for bringing me here to give me this opportunity of touching this trophy again, and all of you for your warm welcome.
Obrigado a todos vocês.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much. And I can tell you one thing from the bottom of my heart, and probably on behalf of Graham and everyone else here at Football Australia, we'll be giving it a red hot go, I can tell you that much. We're right there. Thank you so much, Rivaldo, for your wise words. And Juliana for taking the time to translate today, because I clearly can't speak that language. Thank you. Now for a moment we've all been waiting for, of course, what we're here for, to have a look at these trophies. I'm going to invite Rivaldo to reveal the most iconic symbol in football across the globe. We are going to count down to this for all of the photographers. Help me if you want to. It goes 3, 2, 1. Tough, I know. You ready? 3, 2, 1. And a round of applause, please. We're going to take a few moments to make sure you all get those gold class photos, Rivaldo with the trophy. And Graham, I'm going to invite you to also pop over in just a moment. Yep. Just going to put the perspex back on. It would be bad luck to touch it already, okay? Yep. This is your photographic opportunity for Graham and Rivaldo. Would you like to give that to Hope he gave you some good advice there, Graham. Did you hear? Determination, motivation. Maybe get him into the change room before that New Zealand game. Got Guzano coming as well.
Keep looking at the trophies.
Who's the bossy boots out there? Very good.
All good photographers.
Everyone happy? All right, we're also going to grab one with Heather and Rob, and then I'm going to steal one too, just because I can. Will we get you girls in there? Jump in. Which side would you like, Robin?
That side? Right in the middle? Yep. If you just look down towards this photographer to start with. Keep looking. Keep smiling. Keep smiling. If you can all look at the trophy.
Makes me quite jealous sometimes watching these guys with these trophies, because I was never lucky enough to hold up something so fantastic. A lot of hard work goes into that.
Everyone all good? Any more?
Thank you.
Thanks.
We'll have our guests take to the stage. Do you want me to jump into? Now? Okay. I'm not going to say no to that.
Alright, just look this way, guys. Everyone got what they need?
Perks of the job. Right, Rivaldo, you can stay here, but the others, would you mind taking your seats again for me, please? Of course, having this wonderful relationship between FIFA, Coca-Cola, both these trophies, the Socceroos, the Matildas, and having the likes of Heather and Rivaldo here gives us a wonderful opportunity to add to that strong relationship between our country here in Australia and our footballing talent, which is of course local but also global. So I'm going to invite I'm just checking out a bit here, I hope you can still hear me. Rivaldo is now going to present a gift to Australian Football Federation CEO in James Johnson.
If you can both look this way and hold it up, James. Towards this way. This way. Can you hold the box downwards so we can see what's in the box?
Take it out, James.
No. There we go. Looking this way, guys. This way. Keep holding. Thank you. Perhaps a shake of the hand, if that's okay. Looking this way. Holding hand. Thank you. All good?
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Rivaldo and our CEO of Football Australia, James Johnson. Well, as I said, it is a once-in-a-lifetime thing at the moment to have both these trophies here in Australia and in this wonderful stadium. So we have another incredibly decorated footballer with us here on stage who is a three-time Olympic gold medalist, a FIFA World Cup winner, and it is such an honour to have Heather O'Reilly stand on the same stage as me today and also in front of all of you. A very, very impressive resume. You have 230 appearances for the US women's national team. Such a household name for football fans across America and globally in the women's game. And I'd love to have you up here to give us a few words, but I'd also love you to add into that speech. Heather, and she won't mind me telling you this, age 37, this year achieved another football dream where she went to Dublin because she'd never been able to play in the Champions League and signed up for a team there so she could have a red hot crack at that as well. I think that's outstanding. So come on up, Heather, and say a few words.
Thank you all for having me. Thanks to, of course, Coke and FIFA for putting this all together. And what an honor it is for me to be up here with such a legend of the game. I was very fortunate to be part of 3 World Cups. I got bronze, then we got silver, and we were able to finish the job in 2015 with winning gold. And you know, what an absolute dream of mine to be part of a Women's World Cup team. The World Cup, as we all know, is the absolute pinnacle of the game. So ever since you're a child, you're dreaming of this moment. So of course, absolutely phenomenal to be part of that, and I'm incredibly proud of my legacy with the U.S. Women's National Team, and hopefully we'll see that program continue its success. But what a time for Australian football right now, being in this new beautiful stadium. Obviously the Socceroos qualifying, that was incredible, coach. What a call to put in your substitute goalkeeper for the penalty kick shootout. The gray wiggle, as they call him, really psyched out the Peru kickers, and just absolute an honor for you guys to be in the tournament, and I wish you all the best. And of course, for the Women's World Cup to be held here in Australia and New Zealand next summer, it's going to be an incredible event, and I know that the organizers have been working hard to put on a world-class World Cup, and we're all very excited to see that take part. So in a world that there's a lot of hate and division and a lot of negative things, I'm glad that we all stand here together to celebrate this beautiful game that we all love, that brings us together, and I think brings out the absolute best in humanity. So thank you all for being here, and thanks for having me. And we have a big, big unveil, big secret, cat's out of the bag. The Women's World Cup trophy is here as well. So very big day.
Our second reveal of the, wait for me, got to get our photographer set. Thanks, Heather. Thanks for your kind words too. Here we go. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Yeah, round of applause. Isn't she pretty? Heather, of course, I meant. The trophy's nice too. And we look forward to it being on display here next year, of course. All right, once we're good with Heather, Rivaldo, if I can ask you again to join Heather.
Heather, if you can both come together, maybe in front of the Coca-Cola sign a little bit more, to that way, over that way a bit more. There we go. And looking this way, both of you, smiling. Keep looking this way, keep looking, smiling. Everyone got what they need? Keep going, sorry guys. If Rivaldo, stay there. Heather, if you can go in front of the women's banner. And Rivaldo a little bit over. There we go. This way.
Give us that celebration moment, guys. Come on.
For
all of us that have dreamed about
there
it.
There we go. Everyone got what they need? Oh,
Everyone happy?
Keep kissing. Kiss again.
Absolutely wonderful. Graham, Rob, would you like to join them, please?
There we go. If you can squeeze in a little bit together, squeeze in. Okay. Everyone look straight here, please. Graham, you can move in a little bit. There we go.
While we're finishing up these photographs, ladies and gentlemen, what a fantastic afternoon we've had, and what a privilege it is to be on the pitch of this brand new Allianz Stadium. What a fantastic job the government and Venues New South Wales have done to bring this to life, and just a little taste of what it's going to look like for the events to come. Also, how wonderful to hear from these two absolute FIFA legends of the game. We're so lucky to have them here. I'd like to thank you all for being here. Of course, you'll have your media opportunities in just a moment, but as guests of ours, we'd love you to make your way into the Tunnel Club, which is just down through the centre of the stadium doors there, to continue the celebration and taste the wonderful hospitality being put on thanks to our partner here at Allianz Stadium, Maryvale, this afternoon. My name is Amy Duggan. A big round of applause for our guests and of course for the trophies. Thank you so much for your time today. Enjoy your afternoons.
It's a very exciting day for Australian football because we have both the men's and the women's World Cups here in Sydney at Sydney Football Stadium. It's a great day for the sport because we're moving towards a men's World Cup that we played in Qatar, and soon after that we'll have the Women's World Cup on home soil. So it's a very good period for the sport. It's a very good day for the sport because of two major tournaments that both our men's and women's team will participate in.
Do you wish Australia one day will host the World Cup?
I always wish that Australia can host more and more content. That's certainly part of the strategy at the moment. You see with countries like Canada, they've hosted a Women's World Cup in 2015, and in 2024 they're hosting a Men's World Cup. So the more international content like a Women's World Cup that we can have will set us in good standing to host a Men's World Cup one day.
I just want to ask you, Australia tried to host the Asian Cup 2023. Do we have any chance to win this host with Indonesia, Qatar and Saudi Arabia?
So we're bidding for both a men's and women's World Cup. In the end, we'll only bid for one, and we're discussing at the moment whether that will be the women or the men's Asian Cup. And in the next week or two, we'll decide which one we'll focus on. Of course, the men's World Cup, the men's Asian Cup would be a good result, but also the women's Asian Cup would extend the legacy impact of the Women's World Cup that we'll host here in 2023.
My last question: how do you see Australia and the World Cup with the group Denmark, France, Tunisia?
I think if you're going to play the world champions, it's always good to play them on day one or match one for us in our case. So we're happy that we're playing France for our first match, but they're a good team. They're the world champions. But also Denmark are a very good team as well. So look, we'll go there. The team will be as strong as possible. We'll prepare as well as we can. But certainly if we get out of the group stage, we'll be very happy.
How do you see the event today?
Oh, look, fantastic. It's exciting to see the World Cup trophy here in Australia, and really really shows you how close we are to going to Qatar and being ready for this tournament.
I want to ask you about the group, France, Denmark, Tunisia. How do you see Australia chance in this group?
Yeah, look, everyone calls it the group of death, but I call it the group of dreams because it's a great opportunity to test yourself against these type of nations. Yeah, France won the last World Cup 2018, and you know, for us to have that opportunity to play them is fantastic.
On 22 of September, Australia going to play against New Zealand. How do you see this match? And it's enough for suppose?
Yeah, look, it's great for us. You know, it's been I haven't seen the players since June, since the game against Peru, and to be able to see them personally and to see them playing before we select the squad for Qatar is very important. And the fact that both games are very short, in between the two games, 3 days between 3 days between the two games, we'll be using two different teams and making sure that we give the players more of an opportunity to impress.
Australia always when they go to Doha, they win. I think never lose in Doha. What do you think?
Yeah, it's true. 5 from 5. So, you know, we've had those experiences of Doha being like a home away from home, a second home, and we've had those experiences of playing in the World Cup stadiums and the culture of the Middle East. So, you know, the boys love being there. I love going over there, and I really see it as a huge advantage for us.
Yeah, what a privilege. New stadium, new vision, World Cup, absolute dream. Rivaldo, such a fascinating figure in the world football. You know, who else? Brasileiro. You know, for people in Australia, this is to realize how big mission is this occasion. World Cup, irrespective, you are amongst 32 nations. It is a massive, massive, massive success.
We are the Aussies and we're going